Starting it off with a gorgeous Godzilla War for Humanity cover. This is the Trad Moore Retailer Incentive 1 in 25 for issue number 3. It's really crazy how they have been putting out these amazing covers for this series. Like, they've really been hitting it out of the park on multiple covers for the same issue number too. Like, a couple of the covers will hit every issue, it seems.
Yeah, and I know Trad Moore has, like, there are some people that just, like, love Trad Moore.
Yeah, they
Like,
say he's the artist.
Right. Yeah. He just has, like, a huge following, but
yeah.
I would think that this one is probably going to be really hard to find.
Yeah. Came out this week.
I mean, it came out this week. It's a number 3, 1 in 25, from
IDW too.
Yeah, from IDW. So it's not like it's a heavily ordered book. I mean, literally think how many stores that you guys go to would order 25 copies of Godzilla.
Most stores won't even order 10. So
yeah, or 1.
Right.
We just talked about this book on Wednesday, Brian. Remember?
Yep.
This cover.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. I love it. And Godzilla's really taken off in the collectible market. Even the old stuff selling because of that movie. A lot of people were stoked to go see that movie, man.
They're doing another version where it's like in the grayscale.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's super cool.
Yeah, this one did sell this week for $40, but I could only find one sale, and it's just going to be, like I said, it's going to be really tough to find this one. So it's one of those that if you see it and you're like, I don't really want to pay $40. If you're like, I'm going to want it 6 months from now, you're probably not going to find it 6 months from now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a dope book, man. Justin Shannon says, I suspect Trad Moore does a lot of drugs. His stuff is really trippy. Sometimes I dig it, other times I don't. All right. Moving on. This is another interesting one. Death Zone. It is a one-shot or a graphic novel, limited to 300 copies, supposedly came out from Copra Press in 2012. I don't know anything about this, Stein.
Yeah, I don't know much about it myself. I know the I don't know if he's the writer or the artist. Fife, Fiffe, has done some other things for, what was that Copra title that we talked about? It was a while ago.
Well, you always seem to find these tough to find books, and of course this is on Recalled Comics. It is a rare self-published book. It says it's a 16-page self-published color homage to the Suicide Squad comics by fan and artist Michelle Fife that you said. It was a giveaway when purchasing a cover print on the artist's Etsy store and was dedicated to the creative team behind the early Suicide Squad comics by John Ostrander and Kim Yale, with art by Luke McDonald, that Fife had read and enjoyed as a kid. So very, very cool. Here is an interior page you guys can see really quickly where he's got all the characters. That's actually pretty cool now that I'm seeing this. I mean, look at that. It's like just a fan's love for a series, and he said, "Screw it, I'm just going to make my own."
Yeah,
that's awesome, right?
Yeah, yeah.
How much did this sell for?
Well, this sold for $500. So, yeah. And people are in the chat or in the side chat are asking what is on this cover. I can't tell. It looks like, I thought it was like, initially I thought it was skulls, but then it's not skulls, and that it's like, I don't know. Then I thought it was like chicken legs off to the side, but that's not chicken legs.
Almost looks like waves. Who knows, man? But it's awesome.
Like a severed hand or something.
The interior stuff is crazy. Looks really cool. 16 pages.
It looks like from the left to the right, it looks like it fucking looks like dead cats.
Yeah.
Like rigor mortis set in on three dead cats.
There's some interior art to it. So, yeah, man. Just his love for the character. So that's super cool.
Yeah.
And he shows all the characters and then who created them, which is very cool.
That's pretty cool.
Man, look at that.
I don't know what the fuck that is. Sorry.
You don't know who these characters are?
No, the cover. I'm looking at the cover.
Oh, the cover. Yeah. Man, that's super cool. That's a perfect almost 10 book right there. So, all right, here we go. Moving on. Hot Rods and Racing Cars number 20 from 1955. I'm going to go grab something while you talk about this.
Hot Rods and Racing Cars. This is apparently the final pre-code from this series. So this is from 1955.
Nice.
Yeah. The copy that sold was like in good VG. Like when looking at the interior photos, all the pages were dog-eared on the inside. So not great shape at all.
You said 3.0? 3.0?
Yeah, probably just glancing at the photos and stuff. Yeah, probably. I didn't really look at the state. I didn't look at it too close because I didn't buy it, but I didn't even know that there was a comic book series called Hot Rods and Racing from the 50s. I mean, I didn't even know that, but
that would make sense though. For that
it would for sure. This one in that condition sold for $80 raw. So I mean, it's, that's not. I don't think that's necessarily a terrible price, but I also don't. I mean, I don't know what like premium people put on like last pre-code issues, if any.
I've told this story before, but this reminded me of it, and I actually found this book going through my magazine stuff. I used to work in the space and defense industry, and my mentor, who hired me over there, was one of the best engineers that I ever worked with, and he started out as a musical engineer at a recording studio recording Stray Cats, and he transitioned. And if you know anything about being a recording engineer or an environmental test engineer, you work with frequencies a lot. And he went from being a studio technician engineer into a environmental test engineer for space and defense, and taught me everything I knew in my 15 years over there. He was just one of the best people I ever met in my life, and he was really into cars. He owned an original Shelby Cobra that he had restored, and it was funny because he always drive it to work, and everybody would geek out. And so he's really into Shelby Cobras and stuff. And I went and found where the first time ever the Shelby Cobra was mentioned. And here it is in a sports and car magazine. This is the first place, as you can see right there, Shelby 260 cubic inch AC Cobra. This is the first place where Shelby ever talked about it. A lot of people don't know about this, so if you're a car fan or a Shelby fan, go search this out. First place it was ever mentioned. So I ended up buying a couple of them and giving him one, which was a really cool. He really geeked out over it, and I don't know, man. My being into comics made me go search for this. So I think a lot of us who are into comics or grew up collecting baseball cards and are always trying to find that, first time they were ever mentioned or stuff like that. And for how big, like Doc Joe says, Carroll Shelby is and was, movies and just the mystique and everything, it's a pretty cool item. Go search it out if you're into it. So,
very cool.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We've got this one is crazy. Not even on cover price. Cover price doesn't have this listed either. They have a variant for this, but not this one. This is Avenging Spider-Man number 3, the newsstand copy.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't even know that Avenging Spider-Man had a newsstand. Any of them had a newsstand.
They do. I got this. I have this.
You have this exact book?
Yep. Oh well, I have Avenging Spider-Man 3 through 9, all newsstands.
Wow. Well, this one sold this week for $125. So good for you, Richie.
I don't have one. I want one, but and I'm not sure if 2 has a newsstand, but I know 1 does. But
so if you got 3 through 8, is that what you said?
3 through 9. 9 is the one where I gave up because it has Carol Danvers, first Carol Danvers as a Avenger, and I think she's on Marvel.
First Carol Danvers is Captain Marvel.
Oh, is it as a Captain Marvel? Okay.
Yeah.
Man,
that book was like a $400.
You're sitting on
book at one.
Yeah, you're sitting on. If you've got 3 through 9, and the 3 just sold this week for $125. That's a nice little stack you got there.
It's a spicy meatball.
I got a lot of newsstands. These are actually a lot easier to find than you guys would think. Avenging Spider-Man newsstands. I find them everywhere. Not in boxes, online. I find them on Mercari. I find them on eBay. Yeah, this is 2012? 2012, right? This year, it was like 2011, 2012. All through 2009 to 2012, there are tons of books, newsstands that people don't even notice. They just list them on eBay or Mercari or Amazon, wherever. So,
That's good information.
Hell yeah!
Marvel stopped newsstands in what, 2013?
I think 2013 was the last year. Yeah, DC stopped in 2017. Yeah.
Very, very cool. All right, moving on. Oh, this one's very interesting. The Stand, the hardcover slipcase omnibus from Marvel in 2012, which has all the Stand titles that they did in one omnibus. So,
have you guys ever tried to read an omnibus?
Yeah, I have. One of the first omnibus I ever bought was the Grant Morrison's New X-Men stuff, and it's awesome to read because it's not as big as an Absolute. It's a little bit smaller, but bigger than a comic book. So it's like the perfect size. I think Absolute editions sometimes are way too big, but the omnibuses were like just the right size.
But they're still huge, right? And heavy.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like 3 times the size of a textbook,
Yeah, I mean, and I'm thinking like in the middle, like the pages, because there's so many pages, like is it hard to see in that like where they're glued together?
What do you mean? No, I don't think so. In the binding, when you open it up.
Yeah, like where the pages come like down like this.
Yeah, I get you.
Where you got them where they're so tight they won't flatten out enough, like in a comic book, where you can see the inside portion of it.
Yeah, you probably.
But the pages
right.
are big, but the pages are slightly bigger, and I think they gap it out a little bit.
Is that what they do?
I think so.
I don't have an omnibus. Let me see. I've got the biggest one I've got is this big. So that's the biggest thing I've got. It's not an omnibus.
Oh, it's like the size before.
I mean, this one's got $100 cover price on it, so it's pretty big. I guess I've never actually read it. I don't even know why I have it. I guess okay. It flattens out pretty good.
Yeah, I'm sure that was maybe a reason, that one of the things that they really wanted to make sure you could read the whole comic. It'd be kind of stupid otherwise. But comic companies are stupid sometimes.
Yes, they are.
Yep. So, what did this one sell for?
This one sold for $350.
Wow.
Was the Stand comic book good compared to the Stand book?
Great question that the chat is going to have to let us know, because I did not read any of the comics. I remember when I was probably early teens, they did that big event series with Gary Sinise on TV. I remember watching that, and then I went, now I got to go read the book. And I started reading the book, and the book was just like too much, man. It's massive, the actual book. And I was like, forget this. But I know a lot of people, Stephen King nuts out there that love that book.
I don't think I've ever read a Stephen King book.
Seen a bunch of Stephen King movies.
Yeah.
Which he hates.
Drive, baby.
Except for I think he did like The Green Mile and Shawshank, right?
Yeah,
He did?
Shawshank. How could
Stephen
you not
King?
like Shawshank?
I think he loves. Because he sold the script to the director for like $1,000,
Mm-hmm.
and the director never cashed a check and sent the check back to Stephen King later.
La-di-da Records. Thanks for the subscription. All right. Here we go. Moving on. Oh, let's get started. Like I said, that China book was going to do well for the almost 10. And we've got Savage Dragon number 226 from 2017 on the list tonight. And I always wondered, who is that character that a Savage Dragon is running with? Because isn't that the same character that he has on that one book with the shaved book?
Mhm.
Oh, that bald is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who is that character right there? Does anybody know?
I'm not really sure.
Yeah. I'm going to look that up real quick here.
Yeah, so you're going to see with this book and with the next almost 10 book, obviously I would say the number one thing that is on every water cooler across the country is Donald Trump. Whether you love him, whether you hate him, whether you could care less about him, there's pretty much there's more people talking about him than Taylor Swift, for sure. And if you can overcome Taylor Swift, then that's going to make people want to, again. So what we find here is Eric Larson is as anti-Trump as you can probably get.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's what this cover is all about. But there's not that many, because again, nobody bought Savage Dragon, so it's not heavily ordered or anything like that. This one was selling for about 20 to 25 this week. They said the stream has crashed.
No, we're not crashed.
I'm watching it.
Yeah. Stream is crashed. No, we're not crashed. Yeah. We're good.
We're good.
Yeah. So this sold for $40 this week. Again, it's an uptick for sure.
That's Savage Dragon's daughter-in-law, that character.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Kind of weird that she was sitting on top of his shoulders naked. Kind of weird, right?
It's a little strange, but but yeah, so we'll kind of like stream straight from this completely anti-Trump cover
to Cyberfrog Blood Honey, the rare Trump mugshot variant from September 8th of this year, of course, from the All Caps Comics crew and Ethan Van Sciver.
Yeah. So just so nobody can ever say that I am this side or this side, I got both sides. We got both of them listed here. Both are, again, whatever you think about him. I don't really care what you think about him. Makes no difference to me. But there are camps on both sides. Some people, whoever want to hate him, want to pay. Whoever want to love him, want to pay. There are other books out there of Trump that are selling.
So
this one sold for 150 this week.
Wow. This is a tough book. I don't know how many they printed, but I found a Twitter post where Ethan said, tomorrow at noon Eastern, a 7-day mugshot variant of Cyberfrog Blood Honey is on the Dark Harvest campaign. We're going to a fourth printing on Cyberfrog #1, having sold out of all other printings. While we're doing that, we thought we'd be fun to make this. This unique variant of Blood Honey is print to order. If we sell 500, we're printing 500, plus enough to cover lost or damaged orders. There will be no second chance offers. It will not be sold on our eBay store. You will have 1 week to put in your order, and then that's that. See you tomorrow. So it'd be interesting to find out how many they actually printed. So Ethan and the crew out there, if you're watching this, or any of the CG people or happen to be watching this, let us know how many you printed of this issue. All right, moving on.
Hey, so Brandon said, that's a really funny comment. What side do I kick my feet out on while sitting on the fence? Hey, you know what? I learned many years ago, and this is something that I think, unfortunately, people in our society today can't quite grasp.
Right.
Is burning bridges never works. You don't burn bridges, and you need to listen at all times and be respectful at all times. And that art is gone from our society, and which is why we are stuck in this completely polar spot. And I'm not quite sure we can actually come back from that. Yeah. I hope we can, but I'm not sure we can.
People can no longer have a conversation about a subject, for the most part, without getting angry. So, especially this subject. And it is what it is. All right, moving on to a absolutely gorgeous, crazy Frizen book that I didn't know about. Serenity Leaves on the Wind, issue #1 from the 2014 Emerald City Comic Con, limited to supposedly 1,000 issues.
Yeah, this is definitely not a Frizen cover you see very often. You may see, I would assume if you're up from the Northwest, you would probably see these. So, like, I think, isn't like Furrbird from like the Northwest?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's probably one you may see more up there. So this sold this week. It sold in there was 3 books. So there was this one, and then another #1 variant that is a Laura Martin cover, and then just like a B cover or something like that. So the other 2 probably weren't really that big of a deal. It was mostly this cover, sold for $155.
Wow.
And I'm not sure how hard it is to actually find this book raw anywhere else.
Yeah,
I feel like we talked about this on Long Short, or Long Story. Yeah, Long Story Short. I had to think about my own show. But yeah, it looks familiar.
Yeah. It's a ghost book, I'd imagine. One of the Frizen ghosts. So, and of course it is, the Firefly world. And it looks like it's being written by Joss Whedon's son. Is that Zach Whedon, Joss Whedon's son? That'd be interesting. So, the Firefly universe is one of those few IPs that the fans still absolutely love, and they don't get enough content, right? It's one of those IPs where the fans are still pretty rabid about and excited about the IP. They just don't get the content. Whereas, IPs like Star Wars and the MCU, we get the content, but it's just garbage. So, that being said, let's move on next. Go ahead.
Oh, real quick. Zach Whedon, Joss Whedon's brother.
Joss Whedon's brother. Okay. Thank you.
Brother.
There we go. All right, moving on. This is a cool one. This is a magazine, I believe, not a pulp, a magazine, Complete Detective Cases from July of 1941, which has the art direction from Joe Simon and Jack Kirby art on page 22. So very interesting magazine right here.
Yeah, this is a weird one for sure. I thought about putting this like just in the in like the golden age, but then I was like, nah, this is more like an almost 10 book because nobody's ever even heard of this. I mean, this one actually only sold for $75, and I think that's probably like cheap, I think, but how do you know? There hadn't been any sales in like 3 years on this, so who knows?
Yeah, this is probably a tough one to find. A lot of people don't know what this is unless you're a real big Golden Age creator, a Jack Kirby fan, something like that. This is a book that a lot of people would just sort right past, just go right past, So I love stuff like this. Again, the Almost 10 just showing great, amazing books. And while we're here, I want to remind everybody, the Almost 10. What is the Almost 10? The Almost 10 is the place where you see books that might have sold throughout the week that we might not know about, or we think that a lot of people might not know about, that is worth sharing. And every once in a while might be a book on there that is just too close to getting to the Hot 10 list. But for the most part, it's cool books like this that we like to share with everybody that most people might not know about. So, how much did this sell for again?
75. And Brian, are you hell bent for the hot seat, like it says there on the cover?
She's getting ready to jump out a window, man.
It is really kind of strange.
Yeah, passion shill for the Vice Lords. 15 center too. Facts from official files. So, all right, moving on. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, #1, an Art Adams cover, but the gold foil edition.
I will say that in general, I'm not a big Art Adams fan, but this one, I don't know why. This one has a little bit different look. Maybe because it's 25 years old. Maybe it just looks.
I like the monsters different. Or the vampires in the back. I think the vampires look really good.
So I don't remember this having a gold version, but this was these golds only sold for like $10-15. But this week it sold for 40. So
wow. Not bad. I feel like 40 is even a decent buy. I feel like I don't ever see these. Right? I've never seen this.
I think Yee looks like a Buffy fan.
Actually, I've never watched Buffy, but
fail.
But I'm wondering if they did something with the gold foil, if it was like limited, or are they all like that?
I don't know. No. I don't know where the Buffys came or the golds came from.
Yeah, they are supposed to be limited, but I don't know what they're limited to. So, $40 seems like a decent buy on this one, to be honest, if it's in nice condition. We have one more Almost 10 book this week that I thought I would throw in here. That I saw a sale on that was very interesting. It is a foreign book this week. Le Journal de Mickey, number 772, from Hachette Publishing in 1967. And it says it's the first Winnie the Pooh appearance in comics. Now, I don't know if this is a reprint of the first Winnie Pooh American book or if the first Winnie the Pooh actually appeared in the French magazine Le Journal de Mickey. So that's for all the people in the chat, and if anybody else out there, including International Comics, knows about this one. So,
I don't know anything about this.
Sold for $300 raw this week.
I mean, who's buying it? Is like this from like the Do You Poo people?
No, I think this is probably a Mickey or Disney fan. I don't think. Is there a lot of Disney fans that like the Do You Poo stuff? I feel like if you're a Disney fan, you're probably going to be a little offended by the Do You Poo stuff, but could be wrong on that too.
It's probably hit or miss.
Yeah.
I think some covers they probably love and then laugh at, and the other ones are like, oh god, you know,
Yeah,
kind of like us.
yeah. So, very interesting book. On another interesting book for the Almost 10. Remember, you guys. The Almost 10, you can catch this every week live here on the House of Stein. And then you can catch the replay every week before the Hot 10 show on the House of Stein over on Beyond Wednesdays, where I do the review episode clip, which I saw a lot of people in today. So I appreciate all you guys hanging out there, watching it live. I usually watch it live while I'm getting ready for the show and chatting with all you guys in there whenever I get a chance. So I appreciate all you guys doing that. And that is the Almost 10 this week.